Welcome in to the Devil's Puck Luck podcast, first edition of our podcast, post-game reaction. Why? Because I, Adam Armbrecht, and my cousin and your friend, Danny McDonough, just watched your New Jersey Devils take care of business at the Rock against the New York Rangers. We're going to go through the sequences, man, but just where is your head at about it? You called for a 4-3 overtime win.
I was a little off.
I was hesitant to even give a prediction around this game. The Devils come out with an absolutely massive win in this one. It's great, dude. 102 points, 1 point behind the Canes right now. The Canes have 2 games in hand,
right,
but also kept the distance with them and the Rangers. Obviously, a preview of the playoff matchup potentially, which would be insane.
What a game. I mean, for the Devils to have one of their best defensive performances in the last 2 periods is incredible. And you and I were talking about
everything that you called for, but everything that you called for, everything you called for about play physicality, the thing that I was like, hey, can they honestly do that? They did it. Playing against the boards, they did that. Holding the puck up, they did that.
Oh, yeah.
And then to your point, I said, man, coming out of the last podcast, I go, at some point we're going to talk about Graves and his, inconsistent / bad performance. And he was giving us another bad performance right up until he saved a goal on the doorstep.
He played better in the third period.
Yes.
He did play better in the third period, but minute left, clearing the puck out of the zone, out of the crease, literally right there. Unbelievable. I can't believe it. Minute left. I'm still excited about this game. This was a game we needed, and the physicality is huge. It's our first 4 shifts of that game, all 4 lines, 4 minutes into the game, we were rolling, puck possession, hitting everybody. I love the grit. I love the enthusiasm of every single line getting into every single play and every single scrum. We knew Trouba was going to get involved with something, and Palat knocked him on his ass, which we love to see. We love to see it.
It was a great example of, I said, like, would you call that a dirty hit? If it happened the other way, maybe. But guess what? When it's my guy and you were picking on somebody on my team, sure, maybe I check you in.
And what do we talk about all the time? The core players being protected.
Yes.
Palat is one of those veterans. Trouba was in Mercer's face, hit Mercer. Palat came over, knocked him down. That's what we need.
Do you know the exclusive club that Vitek joined tonight?
I do not. Hit me.
He just joined Martin Brodeur.
Most wins in a season.
As a 30-game winner. No other goaltender in Devils history before Vitek tonight had joined Marty Brodeur.
Marty Brodeur retired a little while ago, right?
Heard about that.
So this is just a testament to that the Devils are a good team and they are going to be a contender for a while again. And I think we solidified Vitek as our number 1 moving forward for the next few years, And that's a great feeling because he had an amazing game. He was the 3rd star. He deserved to be the 3rd star. In some cases, you can say he's the number 1 star of the game. But the defense as a whole, to me, was absolutely incredible down the stretch. This Ranger team is hot. This Ranger team the last 5 games has been scoring goals. They've been taking advantage of all their opportunities in the offensive zone, and the Devils shut them down, and that's what we were looking for. This statement game where we can, number 1, stop playing the way we've been playing, which is essentially sloppy defensively.
Right, play good hockey.
Yeah, this is a really exciting time for the Devils because now I feel way more confident getting at least that 2nd seed. And I don't care what anybody says. I know we've been great on the road.
Yep.
You want that 2nd seed. You want to play game 1 and 2 in your building against the Rangers if we're going to play them.
And frankly, at some point, too, it's like just a part of being a good playoff team, a good, consistent season-over-season team. You want to protect your home ice. Yes. And I get that it's against the grain to say that hasn't been their bread and butter this year, but a game like tonight, man, we said this going into our last episode about the Islanders game, which you correctly pointed out. I was kind of talking about how, Vitek wasn't good enough. It came down to the 3rd period and some inconsistent plays. 2 empty net goals there. But we had to go all the way back to the Canes game to feel like we were talking about a team that, when the moment mattered, stepped up. 3-0 win there over the Canes. I'll give them this. This was the next most critical, crucial game they could have played. The Islanders are far enough back in the standings. You're not really worried about them. You still want to play them well because they could see them in the playoffs. This game was massive. In 9 of the last 11 games, Rangers had won coming into this. So, everything was there to have a bit of a disappointment in front of your home fans.
I guess it's the question I'm going to pose to you. Do you think that the Devils now have proven that they're a team that are going to play well under pressure? This is the game of the year, right? This is the most important game that the Devils have played all year. I think the Carolina game was one of the other important games of the year too.
Moment,
And I think that the in-between games, we lacked that. I don't want to say that effort because, listen.
Urgency.
Yeah, the urgency. That's a great word. So to be able to basically come up against a lot of pressure against a Ranger team where it's like, listen, the Rangers are just playing way better than the Devils right now. They're going to take this game. We defended our home ice.
Yeah.
We gave our fans a show. And listen, the Rangers played well too, and that's the thing. A credit to Vitek and credit to our defense. This was a great game.
Vitek had a great left side to right side sweeping kick save left. Late in the third period, you watched it on the replay and noticed. We thought like, he shot that puck wide. I was like, no, actually might have been Vitek getting a shoulder on that thing to pad it away. It was really good sequences on both ends of the ice for the Devils. And just to your point, do I think they can be consistently? Here's probably still my curiosity, and I'm happy to watch the playoffs and see how it unfolds, is can the Devils do what they did tonight and then not have a letdown in terms of everything you pour into a game like this? Listen, it mattered more, you can argue, for the Rangers tonight than it did for the Devils because they're behind the standings, the seeding, everything else. So the Devils answered the bell. But could you do that again in Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, Game 6 and 7 of a playoff series?
The big test right now is going into Chicago playing a bad team and winning that game.
Yes. This would be a great letdown here.
You're beating a great Rangers team that is playing probably some of the best hockey in the East right now, with the Bruins. And the fact that you beat the Rangers, you got to go out and you got to bury the Blackhawks, in my opinion. You got to win by 2-3 goals, and you got to dominate that game. And then go into Winnipeg and beat Winnipeg. I know it's a back-to-back, so we're going to see Blackwood in one of those games.
Right where I want to ask you, Blackwood against Chicago, I think. It's the easier of the two matchups. The team should be able to carry that load, give Vitek a little bit of rest, and then set him up for that game against Winnipeg where you want to keep having him roll.
Yeah, I would do that, but I have a feeling the way Ruff has always surprised us, and I think we'll probably see Vitek.
And Schmidt gets called back up for a one-game special. Yeah,
you know what it is, too? It's carrying the momentum, maybe, Ruff is thinking, and keeping Vitek in there to get that win and capture that win in Chicago.
You're right. You know what? I'm thinking pessimistically of, like, don't have there be a letdown game and have it be against Chicago, which is a bad team. Even if you lost a good game against Winnipeg, you can rationalize it. Say his name, man. You say his name, and you say what a good game he had tonight.
Wood had a great game.
There it is.
Wood had a really good game.
Hand on
heart. McLeod had a great game.
I love McLeod, man. He's my guy now.
You feel like he's due. I feel like this weekend coming up against the Blackhawks.
He had one off the post.
He had one off the post. Listen, he was stronger on faceoffs. Strong against the boards. Sharon Govich held his own, too, on that line. And a lot of people in the beginning of the year, myself included, we questioned Sharon Govich's drive, right? We questioned his finish. We questioned if he was going to be a part of this team and play with this team moving into the playoffs. We'll see what happens when Bastian comes back and he's healthy, where Sharon Govich is going to be, or if it's going to be Boquist out rather than Sharon Govich. But, I'm happy for Sharon. He did a great job tonight. He held his own with that fourth line. And hats off to that fourth line. Hats off to all the Devils lines. They played well.
We will we'll go back and rewatch some of this just to confirm some things that we thought we saw. But how about the fact that this wasn't a studded performance from Jack Hughes? I'm not saying it was a bad game, but it's just a good example of, we asked that question, can this team be successful if Jack Hughes is good some games, not so great other ones? He had a fantastic, terrible, great, awful, amazing sequence when he did all of the stuff that you're like, this guy's about to pull it out of the offensive zone and catch everybody else off sides on his own team, but he held it in and then made something special.
You know what's great? Offensively, you didn't see the spark you normally do with Jack, but he played so well defensively. He was responsible with everywhere he needed to be on the ice. He didn't leave wide gaps of open space for the Rangers. He knew where his teammates were going to be. And remember, we talk about this all the time. Jack needs to be more aware when his line is changing. He needs to be more aware of when to dump the puck, when to not try and skate between four defenders when his line is changing. Because if he turns the puck over, that's when you get the odd man rushes. You didn't see many odd man rushes at all tonight. And that's a credit to the Devils defense and really a credit to the coaching staff that they prepared for the Rangers the way they did.
And frankly, that's the evolution for Jack Hughes. You have enough talent offensively on this team to have other people carry the load. You need to be, you said it, responsible on the other end of the ice and not put your team in bad spots. Listen, it's an absolutely incredible win within 1 point of the Canes. 7 games to go for New Jersey, 9 games to go for the Canes. Danny told you the Chicago Blackhawks are up next, and you can't have the letdown.
Let's check the Canes score right now. Before we finish here, let's check the Canes score. It was 2-2 going into the third.
There's a lot.
So we're going to have listen, we're going to know right now.
Look here. And by the way, while Danny looks that up, this hat right here.
Yes, sir.
This is now a 2-0 hat. I only touch it. I only taste it. I only lick it. Don't worry about what I do with the hat. The point is, I break it out for games that matter most. We're going to use this down the stretch of the season, potentially in the playoffs. So we'll see how this one comes out.
5 minutes left in the Canes game. It's 2-2 still. So listen, at this point, if they go to overtime, we hope that they're only getting 1 point. Detroit beats them in overtime. But nonetheless,
I prefer a regulation loss for them if it just.
Well, yeah. Let's hope Detroit scores, in 5 minutes.
That's way easier.
Nonetheless, we're handling our business, which is what we needed to do, right? We're not relying on other teams. We want to do that. There's still a lot of hockey left. 7 games for the Devils and the Rangers. The Rangers can catch us if we go on a slide, so we need to focus. And like you said earlier, really hunker down. This was an important game with a lot of pressure built up, but we don't want to have a letdown in Chicago.
You can make the case the last 2 games, Islanders and the Rangers, a little bit of puck luck one way or the other, could have reversed these results.
Yeah.
You could have felt differently about them. So most importantly, continue to get yourself on the good foot. We're going to come back in. We're going to break down this team, the things that we saw. And quite frankly, I like the energy of what's happening right now. We made you some more of these post-game reactions, especially, as you can tell, when we're in the same space, even if it's a different space. Maybe a game of pool afterwards. We're going to try to get little Henrique here. Maybe just a little bit of help. He's got a bum wing. He's going to be okay. You get us on YouTube. You get us on the podcast feed. You follow us on Twitter at NJDevilsPL and on Instagram
at Devils Puck Luck.
I am at Adam Armbrecht. He is at Danny the Face. We'll see you next time right back here where, yes, it will always be gravy, but just maybe there's someone else that deserves the closeout moniker. We'll see you next time.